Very interesting update for the Skoda Enyaq vRS. This is the performance model of the Enyaq, recently facelifted, now also for this performance version. But not only more performance, but also some battery upgrades, so you'll profit from higher range and so on in comparison to the normal all-wheel drive model. So very interesting facts to come there. And also the question, can it be a viable competitor to a Tesla Model Y performance? We're going to find out here with Thomas Nautical in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with this new facelifted front that now also gets you for the vRS model, or in Germany we only say RS, so it depends on the market then. You get this new V shape here in the lower grille, also reminding once again of the vRS scheme. Here you have also the middle illumination in this low upper part, daytime running light part, split main headlamp unit, and the matrix LED, otherwise an option, is also standard here for the vRS version. And the big scheme in the automotive industry is ripping away the logos and putting the lettering right here. This was influenced especially by the Chinese market because all the brands there are putting letterings and not logos. What do you think about this trend? Tell me in the comments. And this color here is called Mamba green, special vRS color, also matches to the interior. Soon more details about that. And then we can see here 21-inch wheels. These are the biggest ones. 20-inch would be the standard ones, and then option 21. These are also the aero wheels. These black aero inserts, you could theoretically also put them out if you like that. The vRS badge is in this case fitting to the exterior vehicle color, but it will always be that way. We also have the Coupé over there, soon going to take a look at that one. And then you can see that the badge is also the same color. The length, like the normal Enyaq, 4.66 m or 183 inches. Most customers actually pick this version here, although the Coupé over there is a little bit more aerodynamic. So it has its advantages, but also differences, of course, as for the panoramic roof. Soon going in depth on that. A modern signature also here for the tail lamp. So I think visually it works very well. It's a very loud exterior color, but of course you can go for other colors, like this steel gray we have here behind us with the Coupé. Soon a detailed look at that one. So the CD values of these facelifted versions, 0.245 for the SUV, 0.225 for the Coupé version. So it will have, let's say, a little bit more range than, especially when you go higher speeds on the motorway. And also has this more fluent shape here, just visually. I think it works very well. So visually, honestly, I do prefer the Coupé. What about you? Would you pick the Coupé or the SUV? Tell me in the comments. But it again has main difference, like with the loading height here, and also then with this one has a fixed panoramic glass roof, and always like that. And this one here has the panoramic roof, which you can also open. Overall, it's optional. You can also go with a fixed roof here if you don't want any heat in your cabin. Yeah, and then of course we got to talk about the batteries, and that gets really interesting. So with the facelift version, they have upgraded range and everything, but this one now here, the vRS version, gets a 79 kWh net battery, and that's 2 kWh more than even the normal all-wheel drive version with the big battery. And the reason for that is a new generation in cell technology. And only the vRS profits from that to make it like an exclusive selling factor. And also charging is a little bit quicker here at 185 kilowatt peak. And that means 26 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge. That's also 2 minutes less in comparison to the normal all-wheel drive model, and 10 kilowatt higher charging peak. So little something you get then as a vRS customer. Suspension, by the way, is a fixed sport suspension as standard. Optional, the adaptive suspension, the DCC. And in comparison to the normal all-wheel drive version, it also has, let's say, a little sportier tuning. So even if you go for the optional DCC. Here, the front of the Coupé in steel gray. I think the color works also very well. Pretty cool. Also, once again, with the light signature. So visually, from this studio atmosphere here, I would actually pick this one, at least from the exterior, but it might be different on the interior very soon. And here come again, if you want to take a look at the logo here, also in the Mamba green color. That's like the only Mamba green element in here on the exterior for the Coupé. And then to the performance figures. 5.4 seconds is the acceleration figure, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. And that's 1.3 seconds quicker than the normal all-wheel drive version, and 0.1 seconds quicker than the previous vRS version. So a little bit more performance. And I mean, 5.4 is more than enough for basically all use cases. If you then think about Model Y performance, yeah, that's of course even quicker. So in the acceleration, it cannot catch up as for that, but of course it does have other features where it can. Looking under the hood, is there a Frunk? No, there's not. I mean, theoretically little space, but not too much. The hood is also not that long. Yeah, still many would have wished for a Frunk here for the Enyaq. This is the key fob, the standard high gloss black one. We also get it every Skoda and VW. Then door closing sound. Really solid, very low frequency sound. For the rear too. In this case, I really like the front sound better than the rear. Sometimes it's also other way around. And then here, inside of the doors, some structure on it. It's a little bit softened, but not too soft. But you have a structure inherent. Then a carbon fiber styling. Let's take it that way. Ambient lighting integrate underneath. In the RS, you have microfiber here at the inside of the doors. And then you also have here some fabric covering.
iPhones. Oh.
Yeah, you have 3 iPhones flying around. Yeah, here's some fabric covering at the inside of the doors, and too small, trashy, for whatever. And then, yeah, of course here the famous Skoda umbrella at the inside of the door, or the snow brush would also work there. Then Enyaq entry still badge right here, but however, just Enyaq, no vRS. Cost savings. But you have the vRS badge here at the steering wheel, also with perforation, real buttons at the steering wheel, for example, for the steering wheel heating, and nice microfiber cladding here at the dashboard, for example. Then the structure here also somewhat soft. Highlights are the vRS seats, sport seats with a lot of shoulder support. Then you have this perforation where this neon green or Mamba green looks through, and also at the sides. I mean, in this combination, it looks really great, I gotta say that. But I think it's strategically not a good decision, because I think the majority of buyers will rather prefer a more neutral color for the interior. And you have to be cautious then. Think about, you pick like a red exterior and then you have this color on the interior, rather not. So probably either take it like this, or then put like a neutral color, like maybe like a gray, black, white. I mean, most cars are sold with that one anyway. Then it's also okay to have these like accents in the interior. But here the standard interior is only available with this accent, and I think I would have just made it gray, like it is with the optional interior. You know, that's my take to it. And then here, lower, upper, in and out, steering wheel column manually, and once again removal of the badge and having the Skoda lettering here. And the headroom, this one being one with the panoramic roof, still some headroom left with 189, 6 for 2, no problem. And then we can also close this one. Oh, yeah, put the ignition. We can also close this one, like the whole roof. And there's also then this shade I can also apply. Now it gets really dark. There's this shade. So when it's getting a little bit hotter, at least you have this possibility, whereas with the Coupé you have it always open, or can just have this manual shade, which you probably install once or not. Then welcome to this cockpit, which is really central here with this microfiber covering. Then here in this, you know, in this form here, I think it's very nicely done. Some real hard buttons in the lower part, like accessing the climate menu, for example, or accessing the DCC mode selection. Then you can also click it through from below, that you don't have to confirm in the screen. That is a good thing while driving, you know, if you're using that frequently, for example. So good to have that at least. Always this 13-inch touchscreen in the Facelift. Climate unit, however, is not with hard buttons, but really tiny here, but at least it always stays in this area. Also here for the seat heating, but could be a little bit larger, or of course physical would always be better in that solution. Glove box here, nicely dampened. Also good closing sound. Then again, the structure here on the dashboard you can see as well. So cleaned up, but functional. As I said, also with the buttons and steering wheel. For recuperation modes, you change them here at the steering wheel. We found it with the driving part of the normal Enyaq version or normal overdrive version. It was a little bit strange that you can only change the recuperation while driving. You know, when the car is on and you are stationary, you cannot change it. So you always need to be rolling. Not sure why that is actually. Then nice microfiber covering here also for the right elbow. That's soft enough. really cozy feeling. Underneath you have this split here, like 1 and 2, playing Tetris a little bit. Honestly, I would maybe just leave it open and have a lot of storage in there. And they also have here this, ordered from Temo. Here this, it's still sealed. I think you can push it out, and it's like this spray cleaner thing. Don't need to have it, but can. Open space area here, and then the cup holders are in a way not adaptive. A little bit like this. You can make it smaller and bigger opening here, but they have this Lego dots on the lower part if you want to open these PET bottles with one hand. And then in the front of that is inductive charging pad on the left side, and then it's also cooled. On the right side, it's just like to put your phone, but here is inductive charging plus cooling. And 2 USB-C chargers. They have also, they're quicker now, always like 45 watts per USB-C slot. That's actually quite fancy. Yeah, I think it's an interior you can really feel at home, comfortable with. This more microfiber used here in the RS version definitely increases the coziness, and the seats are really comfortable and also long-term proof. And the driver POV, once again here with real scroll wheels at the steering wheel, for example. And here you can press this one here for the cruise control, for example, and change through the modes. These are small digital instruments, so you can change much in them. Maybe like change the layout just a little bit. And you can also get this head-up display. Hard to see in the studio, but it's actually standard here for the RS. Main infotainment system. This is like the Skoda home menu. Once again here with the climate unit, really tiny. And here you can set some favorite things, press and hold. And then I can, for example, here set the speed chime deactivation just on the top here. And then it's one click, then it's deactivated actually. It's pretty cool. And Apple CarPlay integration. There we go. Looks like this using all the screen. Rear seating, always very important. First of all, we have the manual shades here. It's nice to apply them. Then here, this is hard pack, but at least some structure. Then we have this carbon-alike decor element, ambient light integration, and some microfiber insert here for the RS version. Inside door pockets, they are hard pack in the rear though. The access to the rear could be better. You see here, they don't open too wide if you think about child seats and so on. You might remember my brother has 3 little ones, so and yeah, they probably would struggle here a little bit then. Top tether, however, for the front seat, and the front seat already has ISOFIX as well. The other ISOFIX then here in the rear, outside each, and you can also pull them out like this and that. Here you can see that this this neon green shines through this perforation of the microfiber. It's actually quite cool effect. Then you can pull this down here, it's an armrest, also soft. And here's some cup holders. They are maybe not the most suitable ones. Let's take it that way. However, you can either have this smartphone or a tablet holder here at the seat, or you can put it also here. Probably, and then you can also like fold a little bit like this. Probably it's better at the seat as for like, getting motion sickness and so on. This here also the ski hatch part towards the trunk, also possible. Then in the lower middle part, when the car is running, you have seat heating here, a climate unit, and then this middle part, 2 USB-C chargers. They also now are with 45 watt. And then here you can fold these cup holders, or you can also take out this whole middle tray, I want to say. This middle tray. Then you have like almost almost flat ground, so it's also cozy, so you don't have to go for this one here, depending if you like or not. And then the legroom here, as I'm driving as a tall person, good usage of space, so you have a lot of legroom, although it's not the super longest vehicle overall. And headroom is also fine. Although this is the version with the panoramic roof, you see here it raises a little bit here to the latter part. This one being here the SUV version. Soon going to compare the Coupé again. Then let's take a look at the trunk SUV first. 585 liters. 570 for the Coupé very soon. And here we have this cover here. We can only press. That's practical. This one also fits in vertical underneath. 1.40 meters in width, and the length here is also almost 1.40 meters, a little bit less. And here you can see here at the moment this is level. Here like this, but you can also pull it a little bit backward, let it fall down. Then you have some more height here in this area. You can also remotely fold the seats from here like this and like this. charging cable is right here, so a nice storage at the side. And then we have here the maximum height of about 29 inches or 73 centimeters. And when we measure all the way to the front seats, there we go with some 70 inches or 1 meters 78, something like that. So very well usable indeed. And underneath there's even more storage, like here for some splitters, more charging cables, and this is here like a travel pack where you have this additional storage underneath. And you now have to remember how it looks like here with the SUV. The Coupé looks a little different, and here by the way also a towing hook, semi-retractable like this. Pull it out, there we go, and then we press it one more time and can push it in again. And now comparing the Coupé version, here we go. And it is somewhat different. So here the trolley also fits in vertically, although this area here is more shallow. It was at 55 centimeters or like 21 something inches, and here it's like 45 and like between 17 and 18 inches. So that's the difference here in this very area. Then you have a different cover. You have to manually remove it like this, and then use the force to pull it out. So, and then the difference is here. Thomas face when I'm leaving the fridge open. Yeah, the Thomas left the fridge open face. We were at 73 centimeters here, and here, so like 29 inches, and here we are more like 26 inches and 65 centimeters. So this is then the height difference here, and this could be crucial for a doggo box or maybe a stroller or something like that. So that's also the main reason most still go for the SUV, although the Coupé is more aerodynamic and somehow looks a little bit cooler, at least I think. But the trunk does speak a little bit for the SUV. Underneath, this is also a little bit different. So it has like a small lip here that goes down. You can lift up this one. Then again, the space is deeper in there. Yeah, strange, but I mean, taking notes of that one, definitely. And the same way you can also fold the seats like this and this. And the glass roof here in the Coupé, the main difference in the interior, of course, goes all the way through. The only thing you could apply there is a manual shade in the accessory, order process. And then you can like squeeze it in, this manual shade. So this would be an alternative, just squeezing the manual shade in and just leaving it in there, because always switching it's probably too much work. So I like this one here for the looks and the efficiency, but like that you only have this one and always the fixed glass roof, rather a disadvantage, I feel. Probably, yeah, then order this accessory shade and leave it in. And the Coupé comparison here in the rear, so to the glass roof, it's actually more headroom. However, this cut out here for the head, when you really relax your head and like lean backward to the head restraint, then you're already in this area where it's then still working, but a little bit closer with the headroom. And what range can you expect? I mean, more or less will be the same numbers like we have with the normal all-wheel drive model, and we recently had that, and I noted down the figures. So we were there at speeds up to 100 kilometers an hour, so more like, let's say, Scandinavian summer figures, 17 kilowatt hours or more kilometers, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, so like 430 kilometers or 260 miles of range. And if you go motorway, 130 kilometers an hour, like 75 miles per hour cruise control, so higher motorway speeds, or let's say still normal motorway speeds, went more towards 23 kilowatt hours or more kilometers, 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. That would be more a realistic range of 340 kilometers or 210 miles. Plus, of course, for this one here, maybe a little bit more of range because you have a little bit bigger battery. So the Enyaq has been most recently a very successful EV, especially in the German market, for example, but also across Europe. And I think this will somewhat continue it, because the extra price here for the vRS version will not be so much in comparison to the normal all-wheel drive model, because this one already gets a lot of stuff standard, and you profit from this little bit more battery capacity and also a little bit better charging and so on. So it somewhat makes sense. So if you want to go for a full spec Enyaq anyway, or maybe take it as a company leasing rate and so on, then you might as well directly hop onto the RS version or VRS version, not especially because of the performance, but more because of these small battery upgrades and getting the full package also with the head-up display, everything already together, for example. And I think it also fits very nicely here with the microfibre seats. You just need a good color combination. Either go really all the way screaming out with the Mamba green, or maybe take something subtle on the exterior like black or white, and then it also matches like with a little bit more extravagant interior. And pricing wise, we don't have the exact prices at the day of the shooting like precisely, but it will be once again not changed that much in comparison to the pre-facelift model. So 60,000 euros something will be like a German price, which is also more or less the same price for a fully spec'd all-wheel drive model. And we'll of course keep you updated with that. And soon we're going to drive this one. Now you should check out the competitor.